Hey Genevieve, it's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I am most excellent. Thanks for asking. How about yourself?
I'm doing quite fine, and thank you so very much for being here. You see, I truly appreciate it. And oftentimes, Genevieve, I love to thank my guest for two things. And I do this so often to the point where it has become an anthem for me. So, firstly, I want to say, Genevieve, thank you so very much for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you invested in yourself. And oftentimes, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, Genevieve, some months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, there was this tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry. So I just walked past it and I went my way. But you see, just recently, Genevieve, I was on that same road. And this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree. You see, the mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance. And immediately I got the urge to move so close to it. You see, I just went towards the tree because I just couldn't control the urge and I went towards it. On getting there, it wowed me because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches, and not just mangoes, Genevieve, but ripe mangoes. It was such a wonderful moment that day. I was so excited. Here's my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Genevieve that you are today, that alone has made it really impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you got the request from me to be on the show because I was attracted to the fruit of all that you're doing, the impact your work is having, how you're offering your solution, your philosophies, your insight. These thoughts are amazing. And just before you got the request from me, I said to myself, I've got to benefit from these beautiful things Genevieve is doing. Not only me now, but even the audience. And here we are today with the amazing Genevieve. So thank you so very much for doing that to yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing Elisha could do about it. Thank you so much.
Receive all of that. Thank you very much. And you are most welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Beautiful, beautiful. So let's get started. You see, I'm quite excited to have you on the show today for some reasons, for two reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, Genevieve, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information, and not just knowledge now, but the application of it. And you see,
Yes.
Genevieve, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our
Hmm.
conversation today very important to me and even to the listeners. The second reason why I'm excited to have the amazing Genevieve on the show is for the sake of the listeners. You see, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality, eye-opening, and very important information, of which I am totally convinced, Genevieve, that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or professional journey, because right now we are so curious. We want to know how Genevieve got here. Then
Yes.
afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Genevieve, over to
Yes.
you.
Yes, thank you. Well, I will tell you, I have taken the journey, and it has been hills and valleys. And in the process of every transition, at the time I've been in those transitions, I thought, well, why is this happening? And then I realized there's so much support for me and things I needed to learn to become this next version of myself. So I started off as a mom with small children. Didn't really want to spend my entire existence in the corporate world, my husband and I decided we would do something untraditional. He would stay home with the kids. I would continue to work on our business, which was a training and consulting business. So my passion was to help people show up for work in the corporate world in the best possible way that they could. So I know there's so much talk about, to have a corporate job and et cetera, but a lot of people go down that path. And you really have to prepare yourself to have a good experience and a good journey. There's so much internally that you can control. And I didn't feel like there was enough training and mentoring and guidance and people having that conversation. So I have had a couple of different entrepreneurial experiences that were successful. I've had some that were not successful, learned from them, picked myself back up, started over again. And I've also worked in the corporate world. So it seems like I've walked this path of, well, let's see what door opens. And let's trust that that door contains the most interesting information for me to become the next version of myself. So in my last role, I was a C-suite executive for a half a billion dollar brand. I was in charge of the sales and training strategies for thousands of sales consultants and also moving the business into its next phase. And I was there for about 7 years and have now gone back into my entrepreneurial roots because I'm like, there's something about this. And when I look at all the opportunity out there, I'm super passionate about helping people really remember who they truly are and to help bring that best version to their business. So I think it's a great time to have your own business personally, but I still think there's lots of people that don't know where to start and they need a little support.
That's right. What a beautiful journey. And one thing I can quickly pick from your journey so far is your resilience. So let's start from there first. Can you talk to us about resilience? Like, what are the rules of resilience? Can you feed us in that?
Yes. So resilience to me is the key indicator of success. Resilient people have more success. But again, I don't think it's something that when we intentionally prepare for, I don't think it's something that we talk about. It's this drive in you to keep going, even when you don't feel like going. Some people are naturally, I think, more resilient than others, but I think everyone has the capacity to do something I call resilience mapping, which sets you up for the highest level of success in whatever you're doing and to ensure that you're like, I'm excited about continuing down this path, even if I just got my butt kicked, you know. So to me, that's all resilience. And I
That's so
think,
true, and I got that.
I also think, the thing that's really interesting to me is I like to ask people when they start a business, tell me what you're going to do to ensure that you continue when you don't feel like it. What structure, what system, what support have you put in place to ensure that on the days that you feel like quitting, and I know you know this, having your own thing, that happens regularly. Like I don't think any less than 10 times yesterday did I feel like quitting. Like I literally was like, yeah, this is tough. That urge kind of creeps in. But if you're not intentionally setting yourself up to combat that, you'll never make it, in the long game. We want to talk about, your business plan, but we really don't talk about your resilience strategy.
That's deep. You talk about your business plan, but really don't talk about your resilience strategy. Wow, I got that. I got that.
Yeah.
So that's gonna lead to me asking this question. Do you think goals don't always work? Or should I say, why don't goals always work?
Well, this it's such an interesting conversation that could be its whole own podcast. But I really think that people just get misaligned on their goals. So, for example, people very often will set very tactical goals. So, I'm going to do X by this day. And we all have heard SMART goals, right? It's got to be measurable, timely, all that kind of good stuff. But at the end of the day, the question is, does that goal really excite you? Like, does it really excite you? Like, you're going to get up in the morning, jump out of bed, and think, I can't wait to crush that goal. I don't think most people get there, to be honest. I think they're like, yep, I checked the box. On paper, I have a goal. It's measurable, it's timely, all the things. It's a SMART goal. But if you actually take that second step and ask, is that going to excite you every day? I think 99% of people would say no, because they're really not aligned with who they are, why they're doing what they do, and what internally lights them up. And who you're being is more important than what you're doing. And the goals tend to focus on what you need to do, not so much who you need to be.
These are profound words, I tell you. These stuffs are really scarce. Oh boy. Thank you. Thank you. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. So let's go back to business. What are the top business trends in 2025? Can you share some with us?
Listen, I think everybody should have a little something, something. I'm not gonna lie. There are so many opportunities for people. I think the biggest trends right now, honestly, are people want to know how to make money. Like legitimately, people want to know how can I don't think everybody wants a business. I think there's a group of people that just want some extra margin in their budget. So there's the group of people that can teach people how to make $300 to $500 a month, and that's pretty much what they market. I can teach you. So I think there's a whole market for people that have ideas around making some extra money. So I think it's still the side gig and the side hustle. That's still, I think, a big, huge trend. Lots of health and wellness. Lots of health and wellness. People care more now, I believe, about their health. And I think there's so many different messages that it's confusing. So I think the next big person to come on the scene is going to be a bit of an aggregator, someone that can take all of the information, put it all together. So I don't have to listen to 20 podcasts. I just listen to this one. This person, somebody out there needs to do it, right? I'm going to aggregate all the data, all the info, and keep you abreast of the information. And then I think people really are excited about marketing and sales. So if you have a thing, a business, you got to have some income, and that's all sales. That's all sales.
Okay, I got that. And thank you for sharing that. So, on sales, what is relational selling? Got
Yeah.
it?
It's this notion that you are connecting and inspiring people throughout the entire customer journey and not just the transaction. So if you think about transactional sales, that's what you get when like you go to McDonald's, right? I knew what I want. I looked up, I ordered, I gave you the money, you rung me up, gave me my food, we are done. You're not thinking about me after that. I'm not thinking about you after, in most cases, right? Relational selling is the opposite of that. It is, I know my customers. I'm in love. I'm literally in love with my customers and an advocate for their transformation. And I walk alongside them during the entire journey, stay connected to them instead of just loving them and leaving them. So that's the difference. Relational selling is the opposite of transactional selling.
I got that. So, how can we therefore avoid bad selling habits?
I should. Oh, listen, another whole podcast. I'm just telling. So I think the biggest thing people need to do is they need to intentionally embrace being good at selling. So there's this thing that happens to your body. We teach something called nervous system led sales, which is get your body comfortable with selling. So what I find is that most people, like I talked to an entrepreneur recently and I asked her about her offers and I'm like, so what's going on? And everything was great. And then I said, well, how do you actually get me to sign up? There was like crickets. And I'm like, what? You've got some really good offers and you've got, and it was like, yeah, I don't like to speak the number. I don't like to actually tell them how much it costs. I don't want to actually be rejected. So I take them so far and then I kind of ghost them because my nervous system kicks in. It's trying to protect you because there's something about your mindset that says, danger, don't do this. And so, in order to be a better salesperson, you really kind of have to slow down. First, you got to make the decision, I believe, to be relational. The second thing is you have to love your customers. You have to understand their needs. The third thing is you have to understand how you feel when you're having conversations. So if you ever get to a point where you're feeling like I don't even want to tell the person this, that's an indicator that there's some misalignment. There's intentional misalignment. So I find that quote unquote bad selling just simply comes when somebody is just trying to check a box and not really connect with somebody, meet them where they're at when they're ready, and to help them on a journey. You know, it's like if I asked you, like, when's the last time you had a bad sales interaction? I know that you would know. I know you could tell me 10 stories. But when I ask people, when's the last time you had a good sales interaction? Most of them don't recognize those interactions as actually being sales interactions. So it's quite interesting.
I got that too. That's profound. Okay, so we have just two more questions to go. So, is work-life balance really possible?
I think there are trends of work life balance, to be honest. I think it is possible. It takes a lot of discipline and it takes a lot of trust. But I also think that there are times, Elisha, where you just have to pour the gas on a little bit for right now. And maybe your personal life will be out of balance for a moment in time, but you have to be intentional about how long is that going to last and what are the repercussions and is the juice worth the squeeze. So I think it's a yes and a no, but overall when I coach people I ask them what are the trends. So what have your last 90 days been like, last 6 months, last year? And when someone tells me their last year has been out of balance, that's a problem. Even 6 months, I'm not going to lie. I'm not hearing you.
Okay, there we go.
Sorry, there
Sorry
we go,
about that.
there we go, sorry. Yeah.
So I said I got that. And to bring this to an end, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those folks who like to reach out to you, learn more about everything we've discussed so far, or make inquiries about your programs, how can that be possible?
Yeah. So the thing I really want to leave with people is that you are far more powerful, far more capable, and far more deserving of the life that you are looking for, far more than you can even imagine. You have to have a little support in the process while you're rediscovering that person. And when you consistently show up as the person you really were designed to be, at some point that that is not as hard as it used to be. And then you have the glorious opportunity to become someone new again, which is to me the ever journeying part of life. Like just keep showing up as someone different, someone who can serve more, someone who can help more. If people are looking for me, I think the best way to find me is Instagram or Facebook. And it is my first and last name with an underscore in between. So Genevieve underscore Skory. And if anybody is interested in an assessment of like, hey, how are my sales? Why am I not feeling it and digging it? If you connect with me and use the word spiral, I will send you our free assessment on how to sell without spiraling.
Awesome. I love that. So that's going to be the end of the show, Genevieve. Thank you so very much for coming. And thank you for sharing this beautiful stuff with us. It means a whole lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.